I know this isn't the voice you were expecting to be hearing tonight, but wife messed up and she let me out the cage. And now here I am, going to be the one running this live today. So, hello to everybody on the playback. Um, Obviously, this isn't my wife, this is husband. So, we're going to get this going right away. I ain't waiting for nobody. I ain't going to go through none of that. So, here we go. All right. So, we've never been properly introduced, ever. So, you can call me, ladies, you guys can call me husband. Um, my mother-in-law, everybody else does. Gentlemen, you could call me whatever you want. You can call me, hey, my guy. You can, whatever it is you want, because it's kind of weird calling another man husband, and we don't want to set that type of precedent. So, I've never even told you guys. I don't even think you guys know anything about me really, besides the fact that I'm my wife's husband. So, um, if there's anything at this point in time that you've ever wanted to ask me, um, just me and you, let me know, and I'll answer whatever questions you got. But I met my wife 10 years ago. No, I wasn't in church. No, I wasn't doing any of that stuff. That's my wife. That's my wife's alley. Tonight, you will not hear anything that is thus saith the Lord. You won't hear me quote Bible scripture. You won't hear any of that. You're going to hear common sense things. And we're going to touch on a couple of topics that we briefly spoke on a couple of videos ago, about morality, but we'll get to that in a minute. I want to start this by saying off that if you didn't come here tonight to fix something, if you didn't know, something about yourself is wrong, because we all have it. We all have our issues. We all have our problems. We all have our addictions. We all, an addiction, everybody immediately thinks and their mind jumps to drugs, but that's actually not what it is. Addiction could be to anything. It could be to coffee. It could be to chewing gum. It could be a litany of very stupid things that we all have a habit of doing. I think that we've somehow gotten, Christians especially, somehow have gotten into this thing where they think they need to be holier than thou, but yet that's not your job. You're not here to be better than anyone else. You're not here to look down on anyone else. You're not here for any of that. That's Jesus's job. That's God's job. So let's just say that if you didn't come here to try to better yourself, then you could just get off right now. I don't need you here. I've lost too many pieces of myself learning these lessons that I've learned, and to teach people things and to tell you things coming from where I'm coming from, which is experience. That if you're not going to take any of these things and use them, I don't even want you here. I'm not my wife. I'm not here to, do any of the other things. She's the loving one. That's not who I am. Let me read through the comments. Make sure y'all. What's going on, Megan? Hi, Tasha, Jennifer. Hey, Amelia. How's everybody doing? All right. So I said a while ago, I made a comment about selling your morality, and we really didn't get to scratch the surface of it or get into depth of it. So we're going to do that tonight. All right, so selling morality. How can you not sell your morality when the church itself has sold its morality? The very place you're supposed to go to get cleansed and filled for the week and get in and get a good word, and they've sold their own morality. And you say, okay, well, how did they sell their own morality? Well, they somewhere along the line got into this weird phase where they felt they needed to look like the world. The only way they were going to reach you was if they looked like you. So they're dressing in Jordans now. They're on stage wearing, what the rappers would wear, chains and got the fresh haircut, wearing Gucci, Louis Vuitton. They look basically like they jumped out of a rap video, where that was never what this was supposed to be. We weren't here to relate to anybody. You're not here to relate to anybody. You're not supposed to want to try to be and look like everybody else in order for them to listen to you. That's not how this should go. You need to be above the fray, above everyone else in leading by example. You want people to look at you and go, okay, well, she or he is living right, and they got a good job, they got a good car, they own their own home, so they must be doing something right. They dress proper. I mean, you got nowadays, this as far as you walking around, pastors walking around sagging their pants. Now, we all know that where the sag in the pants came from was, everybody says it came from prison, and you did that when you let another man know that you were available. That's where we're at. We're at pastors walking around sagging their pants. Now, how are you, the regular person that's sitting in the congregation? How are you supposed to take this man seriously? You got pastors out here now wanting to sell weed. The problem with this is 9 times out of 10, and not all the times, not every time, but the vast majority of the time, there's a pastor up there that's speaking that's broken. He's a broken man. He was raised maybe by a single mother, and those happen to be the worst broken men. Because a lot of times they've never addressed that. They've never addressed certain parts. They're angry. They have these needs where they need to get attention. So mommy, because what does mommy do? Mommy gives everybody attention. Ladies, you are, that's what you do. You're loving. You give love. You show love. Your children come. You pat them on the back. You tell them how great they are. Blah blah blah. Well, as they grow up, they continue to still want to look for that same attention, and attract that same energy. So you got these men up here, these broken men that are trying to teach things to people, and in reality, they still haven't been taught themselves. That's why you get all these pastors up here right now saying all these crazy things. The church should grow weed. You know what? I'm sorry, congregation. I didn't mean to sleep with that girl. It was only that one time. Or you got pastors now that are wearing pearl necklaces. Where did that come from? Where did all these things come from? It started in the 80s when parents decided that they no longer needed to stay married anymore. They no longer needed to fulfill their duties as when they built a family. Now sex has just become a thing that we do to procreate and have, I almost said a bad word. See, my wife is my filter. She gives me looks. I know you guys can't see me, but she gives me looks, and you can, if you go through our lives, you can see her dart her eyes at me when she feels like I'm starting to go off to the left. So if you guys offend easily, you need to probably click out now too. So how do we address the men in the church? Oh, I'm like, why am I texting? How do we address the men in the church that are broken? Like, how do we help the ones that sit in the positions? Can we? No, you can't. You can't. What you can do is you can help the next generation come up, because a lot of those men, and I've been around a lot of them. My wife will attest to this. I've been around a lot of these men, and a lot of them, their egos are so large. That's why you have to be careful of men in powerful positions. They don't seek these powerful positions for nothing. A lot of times they'll do whatever it takes to get into that powerful position. The church is as cutthroat as any business. So we're not going to just address the church right now. We're going to address men in a whole. Ladies, you guys, and I know you've heard me say this before, but it's the vast majority of this is your fault. You guys control everything. You guys control the what I don't see. I got to be careful choosing my words even still, because I know wife's watching. I know wife is sitting right here, and I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to be sleeping on the couch tonight. So, um, what it is you have to start with the next generation. The one that's up there and the one that's preaching, it's over with. A lot of times they aren't going to come to the realization. You know when I came to the realization that I had an ego problem? When I came to that realization. Not the 100 times my wife told me I did. Not the 100 times that that I would act out in public and show my arrogance. Never any of those times. Only till I took a look in the mirror.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Off?
No.
Is it red?
No, it's green. You guys can't hear me? Can somebody let me know if you can hear me?
Is it stuck all the way in the phone? Into the bottom
Yeah.
of the phone?
It's all green. They're saying they can hear me. Well, wife just came out here and told me that she couldn't hear me. So, none of those people ever came to that. Those people don't come to those realizations till they want to. So you can't come to them and say, hey, excuse me, I think you have an ego problem. Because the very first thing the ego does is tells you to get out. They tell you to get out. They ain't hearing none of it. So now you have to focus on the younger generation. And a lot of times the younger generation are coming from broken homes. The only way you can reach them is if you speak to them as if you're on their level. You can't speak to them like like a normal adult. You have to literally. I mentored a bunch of young men, and they were a different color than me. They were from a different background than I was, and they respected and listened to me over their own father. Because I could speak to them. First of all, I never acted like I was something I wasn't. I'll be the first one to tell you, where I'm from, what I'm about, how I ended up where I ended up. I don't hide it. So when I can sit there and tell them these things and say, listen, we might be different on the outside, but on the inside, I'm a lot like you guys. And all the things that you guys are trying to do, or all the things that you're trying to be, I've done, I've gone through them. I've gotten the bumps on the head. I got the scars to prove it. And then and only then will they sit down and actually pay attention. Not even put it into action. Not even listen to what you're saying and put it into action. You just opened up the door. You haven't even stepped through yet. You haven't even put a step through the door. And all these men are coming from broken homes that their mother raised them, so now they're relying on women to get them through. They're vine swinging from one woman to the next. And they never fully let go of that vine behind them until that vine in front of them is securely in their hand. Ladies, you allow these men to get away. Listen. I'm trying to find a really nice way to say this. But 90% of the reason why these boys, they aren't even men, these sissies, run around in dresses, in wigs, is because y'all play the little pity pat games with them. Y'all think it's cute. You guys somehow, and yet you don't even realize what they're doing is trying to eradicate you. The minute that they put that out there to anyone, you should have immediately slammed the door in their face. But instead, you let them do your hair. Instead, you let them do your nails. Instead, you go, oh, that's just my girl. That's your girl. And then somehow, married ladies, you want your husbands to accept this man. This man will never accept that sissy. Not ever. Okay. We have to help the ones coming up. It's about the next. It's about the next ones coming up. And if you have some of those little young ones coming up, you need to make sure that you're putting them in the position to win. Putting them in the position to actually be able to succeed. Not hindering them. not giving them bad habits, not starting them out on the wrong foot. Men, you are just as responsible as the ladies in this department. Ladies, if you have young men, if there's a man in the house, you need to allow that man to parent that child, that young man. And if he has daughters, the young ladies. Because the way a man's looking at this from this perspective is that I am who my daughter's going to marry. I'm my daughter's first love. So I need to be all those things that I want my daughter to be. I am the man I am to my wife because I want my daughter to see that's who you need to be with. That's the man you need to be with. I don't care about anything. I don't care what he does for a living. I don't care what color he is. If he's following those things that you were raised seeing your father doing, and if he can do more for you than what your daddy did, then you find yourself a good man. On the boy's perspective, I am who I am to my wife, so my son knows the husband who he needs to be. I'm constantly pointing out the fact that of the things that I do for my wife, to my son. We had a conversation last night. We dropped wife off at a building. She had something to go do, and I pulled up to the door, and I pulled up to the door, and wife got out of the car, and I said, okay, what do we do right now? Well, mommy's walking in this building. What do we do? And my son said, we stay and wait. Correct. Why do we stay and wait? So we can make sure that mommy gets in the building safely. Correct. Do we do this for just mommy? No. Who do we do this for? Any woman that's in our possession. And I said possession. Because when you're with us, it's our job to keep you safe. I don't care if it's your uncle. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your father. Once you are in our possession, it's our job to keep you safe. Somewhere along the line, I don't know when it happened, because it happened in my family too, but men started to forget that it was their responsibility to keep the woman safe. So instead, what they did was they did whatever they wanted to do. And they did whatever the woman would allow them to do. And they took off and they started having random kids and running around the streets doing whatever they wanted to do, and then sitting in front of the TV, not trying to get a job, not trying to build a career, not trying to build a family. They happy playing stepdaddy to somebody else's kids. Well, their kids are over halfway across town with another stepdaddy that ain't doing nothing for them but damaging them. Damaging them. What are some things women can do to not be a part of the vine swinging? And what can we as women to not contribute to the feminization of men? Okay, well, the very first thing you could do is make sure that right out of the gate, all of your wishes are known. What you're looking for. That way, you don't got men trying to play X, Y, and Z games, trying to guess this and trying to play guessing games. I think this is what she wants. Then what you get is just a man just telling you things that you want to hear. Men are good at that. Ladies, you let out little details of things when you're just talking in a normal sentence and you're flowing and you know, you're letting him know who you are. You're saying little details that he's paying attention to. Because that's what we do at first. Right up until we get the kitty cat. I don't even know what else to call it. Like, wife. What?
You gotta keep it.
Oh. It was because I put the thing away. I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, this is my first time. Cut me some slack, Megan. All right? This is the very first time. I'm not used to all this. I'm used to letting wife go, and I'm just the colored play-by-play guy. So anyway, what was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? Okay, so you guys drop little things, and we pay attention to those, and then we start saying them to you because we know that's what you want to hear. We're playing the game. And the game in the beginning isn't, oh, I'm gonna make this girl my wife. The game in the beginning is, I'm gonna get them draws. I played the game. Played it with my wife. I lost the game. I didn't lose the game. I ended up actually winning the game. Don't let me sit up here and, make it sound like, I'm going to get off of here and White's going to yell at me trying to make it sound like I lost. I won the game ultimately, but the get the draws game, I lost that game. She won that game. Okay? The score was like 100 to her, 0 me. Because no matter what I tried, she was there to put the brakes on it. There was never a time. Here's where a guy will get you. Baby, come over, come watch a movie with me. Okay, yeah, I'll come over, I'll watch a movie. Okay. Movie's over. Baby, let's get some food. Let's order some food. Oh, yeah. Sounds great. Let's order some food. Hey, you want to watch another movie? Yeah, sure. By the time you realize that it's 1 o'clock in the morning and he's going, well, it's late. You could just spend the night here. Don't worry. This was the game all along. And you played right into the game because you never laid down the ground rules from beginning. These are the rules. I ain't here to be your next jump off. I ain't here to do any of those things. I'm looking for a relationship that turns into marriage. If these are not the things, and tell them, because I don't know what your exact wishes are. Every last one of you, if you're not married, your goal should always be to get married. Don't ever let me hear you say, oh, I don't need a man. As a matter of fact, if there's any ladies on here that sit there and say, I don't need a man, you can get off too. I don't want you here neither. Because you were part of the problem. You're not part of the solution. This is how, women like that is how we got here. Men are dummies. Let me be the first one to tell you that. We are like dumb dogs. Stupid dogs. The dog that just can't get right to go outside and go to the bathroom. That's what we are. We aren't fully developed. See, back in the day, the dog had a purpose. Nowadays, dogs are a little different. They're pets now. We breed them to be cute little cuddly toys or whatever. But back in the day, dogs had a purpose. And if you weren't fulfilling that purpose, you found that dog wandering off. A dog was either to guard your home. A dog was either to protect you. A dog was to protect your flock or whatever livestock you had. Dogs had a purpose. And a dog will never know its purpose until its master comes and goes, this is what your job is supposed to do. Let me teach you what it is. Essentially, wives, that's what you are. That's what you all are. And if you have sons, little boys, it's the same thing. You need to start doing this immediately if you're not doing it and honing in what his skills are. This is what you're supposed to be. I'm not raising no little sissy boys. You ain't watching certain things on TV. We ain't painting fingernails. We ain't playing dress up. We're not doing any of those things. Now, if you have a son and you're married, you allow your husband to father that child correctly. If not, and you don't understand that's when you get those Tony Too Tough children. Where they tough 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, don't know when to turn it off. Have no clue how to turn off the toughness. Those are the ones that end up in jail for life. Those are the ones that end up smacking women around. Those are the ones that end up on the street wanting to be gangster. Because either you got the mommy that's the hoe mommy, who's bringing guys in and out of the house. You got a young little boy watching this, and now he's angry. Everybody's touching up on his mama, treating his mama dirty. He sees it. He sees it. And he grows up to be angry. And he can't figure out why he's mad. He has no idea why he's mad. And he don't remember all them guys. It's built in the back of his brain. So then he jumps out into the street. He jumps off the porch, and now he's Billy. What? He's Tony Tough Guy. I hope y'all are proud of me for watching my mouth. My wife was so afraid I was going to say something I shouldn't say. So now he's off the porch running the streets. That's hoe mommy. Then you got the mommy that thinks she knows what a man is and she's too tough on him. And now he doesn't know how to turn off that toughness 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He don't realize that you don't have to be there. There's a time and a place for toughness. Now, I'm not saying that a man isn't always tough, because that's not the case. I'm talking about tough when you need to be tough and sticking your chest out. Letting people know that I'm about that action. You can come try me. Because there's certain things that as you grow and as you develop as a man and as a husband, you realize as a young man, you want to fight everybody. I did. It was a sport. I was good at it. So I go, oh, well, this is just me against you. Let's see who's better. Then as you grow up and you get older, you realize, oh, you want to fight because you too stupid to verbalize your feelings. You don't know how to let that come out of your mouth. So instead what you do is you ball up your fists. Women, you're guilty of that too. You allow yourself to not verbally dictate what you want or what your issue is. So your first inclination is to ball up your fist and swing.
What are some signs that men hate women?
I'll get there.
You can see my question?
Yeah, I see it. I'll get there. Let's see. Wife said, what are signs that men hate their mothers? Megan said, you were beating up people. You know what, Megan? To be perfectly honest with you, I stopped drinking alcohol a long time ago because I got drunk. When I would get drunk, I like to fight. And I got to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't be doing this. This ain't a good look. Like, this ain't cool at all. So I just completely stopped drinking, period. And it wasn't, back in the day in the 90s, that's what young men did. We fought each other. And then guess what? That same little boy you fought, you gave him a black eye, he gave you a bloody nose. You best friends. That's how men go. Women, ladies, you can't figure out the dynamics of men, so how are you supposed to raise one? You don't realize that males don't really find friends until you've actually pushed each other to the limit and found each other's boundaries. That's why men that go off to war, they're closer to another man than they are their own brother. Because they've been pushed to a limit together. Now they build a bond that's unbreakable. So, back to the mothers. How they treat. Okay, so a wife said, what are the signs that men hate their mothers? Okay, here are a few. They can't keep it in their pants. They run around every which way, sleeping with every girl you could think of. They talk to you crazy. If you guys are having an argument, he's calling you out your name and calling you everything under the sun. Even if you aren't in an argument, and his first inclination is to go, you know the word. That right there. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect your time. So that's the most valuable thing. Right there is your time. He should be respectful of your time. Not going, you know what, I'm going to drag this situationship on for years at a time with the promise of we'll get married. Oh, girl, we got engaged 5 years ago. Girl, you're not engaged. You just literally, you know the little name tags when you go out to like a wedding party or something, they got the little name plates with everybody. You just one of those name tags. You just a placeholder. That's just holding your spot. Just for right now. The respect in time. Ladies, I cannot stress to you enough the importance of your time being respected. If a man tells you he's going to call you at a certain time and he don't call, he don't respect your time. These are early warning signs. And I'm not saying that all of them can't be fixed. If you found the right guy and his one thing is he tells you he's going to call you at 7 and he calls you at 8, but everything else checks the box, girl, fix his time issue. He's got a problem. He's got a time management problem that he needs you to fix. Let's see, what other signs? He's willing to just let you go. He's just willing, you know what, you ain't really that important. I got other things going on, so I'm good. You know, I'll see you. But again, it all boils down to time. If a lot of times when men are acting feminine, it's a direct lash out at their mother, at their parents. Wearing nail polish, women's jewelry, you name it now. Shoot, we're not that far away from, you know, just about men nowadays will do just about anything. And a lot of it all boils down to attention. But in reality, signs that they hate their mothers really is violence, the way he treats you. As a matter of fact, if you first meet a man, ask him about his relationship with his mother. That'll tell you everything you need to know about him right there. A lot of times, ladies, you get what you get because you're not asking the right questions. You're not saying the correct things. You more worried about the money that's in his bank account. Listen, I had a lot of money. And I was the worst person in the world. The worst. My wife met me. I was a terrible person. I owe everything to my wife. I look at my wife sometimes, we'll be riding in the car and I'll look at her and go, you don't even know who you married. You don't even really know what I'm capable of. But she loves me. And she makes me want to be a better man. So that person that thinks that you know, you don't know what I'm capable of, that makes me push all that down. That makes me never want to see a look on her face. Ever. I feel bad when I do wrong now. When before I'm like, well, you know, if you feel bad, there's 2 ways of fixing it. 1, I'll take you out, I'll buy you whatever you want. You don't feel bad anymore. 2, I'll just ignore it till it goes away. Now I feel so guilty and so torn up inside that I made her feel a certain way. I can't help but try to address the things that I do. So anyway, and I got this way because my wife honed me in. A knife isn't sharp until it's sharpened and honed correctly. I was a dull knife. So after she sharpened me, she honed me, she got me to where I needed to be to set me off to be a good husband, a good father. I wouldn't have been a good father to her children if she would have had children with me out of wedlock. I wouldn't have been a good man to her. She made me into this person today. I don't care. Listen, I don't have the time to sit up here and talk to y'all. I do this for her because I love her and she loves y'all. So while she loves y'all, I'll take the time out to try to help you guys. But I don't need to be here. Do's and don'ts 101. Questions, etiquette. And why he says iron sharpens iron in marriage? Yeah, but you know, I would say, why do, oh, wife, you went in here doing all sorts of stuff. Why do they sleep around though? There's multiple reasons. One is just biology. It's in our bones. It's who we are. It's what we do. We feel like we're supposed to be here to spread our lineage as far as we can. So when we're gone, we continue to live on. That's built in our DNA. We can't help it. It takes a good woman to pull that chain back. And if a man is out here cheating on you repeatedly, actually, here, let me do it. Let me do it this way. If a man's out here, he cheats on you once and goes, baby, I'll never do it again. 9 times out of 10, he's lying to you. He just won't do it right now. That's what he really means to say. Listen, I messed up right now, and I won't do it again for a little bit. So just cut me a little slack. And he'll be on his best behavior for a good, if you got a good one, he'll be on his best behavior for a good 6 months. You got a bad one, he'll be on his best behavior for a couple weeks. And then he'll act like that happened years ago. So that's number one, biology. Number two, he don't respect you. He knows that you don't belong to him. She ain't who I'm settling down with. She's not who I'm spending the rest of my life with. So it really don't matter. It really don't. And men are as faithful as their options. If there's no women around, he'll be faithful as can be. Best dude in the world. The minute you drop him into some options, that's when you that's when you test his character. That's when you test what kind of man you got. Because if a man is running around there and you're talking to somebody that's done this, every woman that I've ever been with, besides my wife, I slept around on. And to fix it, I bought you something. You allowed me to buy you. You let me do it. I can do whatever I want, and money will fix this problem. I'm sorry I did that. Listen, let's go. Let me take you out to dinner. Let's go shopping. Get whatever you want. By the time that little shopping spree is over, we're back on good accord. So now I can go off. I'm free to do whatever I want to do again. And y'all let it happen. Some of y'all let it happen 5, 6 times. Some of y'all let it happen so much it's just normal. That's just what goes on. And you okay with it just as long as he keeps buying you things. And that makes you just as much of a hoe as it makes him. Because not only are you sleeping with him, you're sleeping with all those women he just slept with. I wish the narrative was not pushed on me that a man is a man when he sleeps with a bunch of women. I wish it. I would give anything to go back in time and tell a younger me that that's not it. That's not the look. Because it's not. It doesn't, as a matter of fact, what it makes you is, it makes you desensitized. It makes you, you not You have no feelings left anymore. So then when you finally meet the right one and you try to go and give her those things that she's giving you back, because women, it's just inherently in you to give love and caring and affection and all those things, you find your box empty. There's nothing in there because you done passed it all out to every hoe out there now. She got a little piece of you. She got a little piece of you. And you can't go back and go, hey, listen, can I get that little piece back? It don't work that way. And that's another thing, ladies. You want to run around and try to find a man with money. Guess what? When you got money, money comes with perversion. You realize this. Ladies, do you even understand this? The things that you do when you got a certain type of money to feed your beast inside you, the perversion comes out. Doing things you know you shouldn't be doing. Multiple women doing things like that's what money comes with. Real money. I'm not talking about thousandaires. Wife, you saying anything else in here? Let me see. No, I'm not getting yelled at either, y'all, so I must be on the right track. I ain't sleeping on the couch for y'all. So, back to what I was saying. So when you got guys with money, that's what you get. You get perversion. He starts asking you to do things. Hey, let's bring this girl in. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. Things that you never even thought of. Because money brings in domination. That's what happens when you have a massive amount of money. You find yourself having to dominate everything.
So they run around hurting women because they hate their mothers?
Yeah, they run around hurting women because they hate their mothers. Wife just popped her head in and said, are they running around hurting women because they hate their mothers? Yes. Now, they love their mom. Don't get me wrong. Their mom's their mom. They're always going to love their mom, but they hate what their mother did to them. A lot of it stems from moms bringing in other men into the house that's not dad. And this is what really blows my mind. This is what kills me. You got a baby mom that's got a kid with you. Yet you over across town sleeping with some other girl that got a kid by another guy. You raising his child. Well, your child is running around with either stepdaddy or nobody. But yet you over there with that kid. When in reality, you should be back across town with your own child. Because P is P. It's all the same. And yeah, you might not get along with your baby mom to turn her into a wife, but you never even tried, so how would you know? You never even stepped into that relationship going, I'm going to make an honest woman out of her. No, you didn't do that. You went in there and go, I'm going to get this P and I'm going to move on. Then you just so happen to knock her up. And now you going, oh man, oh well. Mama's baby, Papa's maybe. And that's even when you know it's yours. Because I don't got to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't got to be laying there next to that baby when he's got a fever. I don't gotta potty train this child. That's your job. Then you wonder why you angry. Ladies, and want to blame him. That's just as much your fault as it is his fault. Ain't nobody told you to open your legs and have a baby with this man. You decided to do that. Because you openly decided to have a baby with him when you decided to not A, protect yourself, and B, not treat your treasure chest like the gift that it is. You willing to spread your treasure everywhere. You know what pirates did? Pirates went out, and people get this kind of messed up. A lot of times pirates were given permission by a government to be a pirate. And you raided the other country's ships, right? And you pillaged and plundered. You got your booty. That's literally what it was called. And you took it to an island, you dug up a hole, and you stuck your treasure in that hole and buried it. You drew a map. X marks the spot. You said, I'm going to stick this map away. Your P should be that treasure. You draw a map to it. And you give your map out to a guy and say, listen, I ain't giving this treasure up to nobody. You got to go through a whole bunch of steps and phases and follow the footprints of this map. And if you find the treasure, that means that he's put a ring on it. That means that you and him share a last name. Then you get the treasure. Y'all don't even respect yourselves. So how do you expect a man to respect you? It don't go like that. Women, y'all are responsible for 90% of this stuff. Because I told you before, men are dumb. I am literally a moron. I look at my wife constantly and go, my good boy. Tell me I'm a good boy. Scratch me behind my ear. She knows it. She's probably in there laughing right now. All the stuff I do. Every sacrifice I make. I go days without sleep. Just for her to go, who's a good boy? Ooh, I'm a good boy. I don't get nothing out of this. I get told I'm a good boy. I get fed good meals. And I lead my family. So I shouldn't say I don't get nothing out of it, because I do. I get a lot out of it. But make no mistake, I give everything of me. Ladies, what man in your life is giving you everything of him? To make him worthy of giving your treasure to him. Think about it. Is he doing 50%? Is he doing just good enough? Is that what you think I don't care what you look like. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what color your hair is. Every last one of you are deserving of a man's 100%. A real man. Not a play man, not a sissy. These newfangled things out here that try to call themselves men or have 100 pronouns. That's another thing. You meet a man that tells you his pronouns are he, him, just stay away from him. But or if he has it in his profile, you meet him, he gives you his Instagram, ooh, he cute. And then you go to his profile and it says pronouns he, him. Block him immediately. Immediately. But anyway, I don't care what you look like. You are deserving of a man's 100%. And there is a man out there that's willing to give you his 100%. A good man. A flawed man, but a good man. I'm a flawed man. I got issues. I got issues from when I was a child. My father taught me, I come from the old school generation of men. I was told the old school way of things would go. I had to take the things that my father and my uncles and my grandfather told me, and I had to change them. Back then, if your wife got out of line, you gave her a good smack in the mouth. Can't get away with that no more. I said you can't get away with that no more. Trying to convince myself. Right, wife? No, I'm just joking. But I can't, so I had to take the things that they taught me and turn them to fit the man that my wife needed me to be. But I am still very flawed. If I could ramble off a whole bunch of them right now, but my flaws don't go unnoticed by me. I don't try to brush them under the rug to myself. You get too many of these men trying to ask them, what are your flaws? What are your character defects? And if he gives you some garbage like, I work too hard, that's garbage. He's lying. And if he ain't willing to sit up there and say, I got issue with this because I picked it up from my parents. I picked it up from my father. Some men will be open about it and go, listen, I got abandonment issues. My father left me when I was young. Ask, if he comes from a single parent household and it's just his mom in the house, just know you're walking into abandonment problems. Regardless if it's a man or a female, both of y'all. Man and female have abandonment issues in that situation. Know that there's problems. Ask about the past. If you don't ask somebody something, how are you supposed to know how to operate? But again, you busy giving up your treasure to everybody. Everyone. And not just your treasure that's in between your legs, but your mind. You're giving pieces of that away, which in turn is giving everybody pieces of you. Do those people deserve pieces of you? When you arguing with somebody, you literally giving them a piece of you. Do they deserve that? Do they deserve? You walk away from every argument, every situation with a little less of you in there. And I know these things because there's a whole huge piece of me missing. A piece I would give nothing more. I'd give anything to be able to give that piece to my wife. Nothing more. So now every time you do something like that, you taking a piece of yourself, you giving it away. And then when you get into the right position, the right spot, and you're like, ooh, this is the one. And I'm not just talking about sex. Now you scarred up because you got issues because the last dude cheated on you. When in reality, you knew he was going to do it the whole time. You just had yourself convinced you weren't. So now you're insecure that this guy's going to cheat on you. So now you treating him that way. He gave you no reason to think like that. None. The last dude clipped his toenails and left them all over the place. So now every time he goes to grab nail clippers, you looking at him going, don't you leave them toenails nowhere. He wasn't even going to do it. But because you gave pieces of yourself away, do you feel me? At all? Is this any of y'all? Or am I just talking to myself at this point? Megan said, I believe the past matters. It explains the present, foreshadows the future to some extent. Not to some extent, to all extent. To all extent. Because you can only change so much when you not. Listen, I couldn't be the person that I am today until I met my wife. And she fixed the things. She was patient with me. She's still patient with me. She's still like that. So in turn, and I know these things, I know she's being patient with me. And don't get me wrong, listen, I'm patient with her too. I'm patient with all her issues. I know every last one of them. I know issues that she has she don't even know she's got. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I ain't going to throw it in her face. Ladies, y'all love to do that. When a man finally breaks down and goes, okay, these are my problems, those are the first things you use against him. That's why to this day he don't do it. That's why to this day he don't let it go. He won't tell you what he really thinks and feels because his mother did it to him. He tried to be open and honest with her, and instead of her talking to him and fixing the problem, she yelled at him about it. God, now he's in trouble over it. I ain't making that mistake again. I ain't doing that. This is how I almost chased, Amelia said, this is how I almost chased away my husband. He pointed it out, and I apologized right then and there. Good job. Yeah, Amelia said, I can't stand mama's boys. My ex was, you know, you want a piece of a man that's got a little bit of him in it. A little bit of mom. Not a full-blown one. But that way you know how he's going to treat you. The way he treats his mother, he is going to treat you exactly the same. If he treats his mother with disrespect, guess what you're going to get? Disrespect. If he, you know, doesn't ever come around his mother, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a man that don't show up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any gentlemen out there, now is the time. If you got any questions, anything, now is the time to shoot them off. If you got anything you want to ask me, you're more than welcome to. I'm an open book. I know this was a little different than normal, but I promised y'all a video, and right now is the busiest time of year for me. I literally sleep with my clothes on, wake up, and get right back to it. Right back to work. Like, it's just nonstop for the next little bit. So, but I'm grateful for that. So I didn't have any time to do it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take today and I'm going to go live and I'm going to get on here and I'm going to talk. So, and I didn't even hit on the morality clause that I originally started on. Because now we've all of a sudden now we're living in a day and age where none of it matters anymore. None of it matters. You got men dressing like women. You got women dressing like men. You got men competing in women's sports trying to call himself a girl. We are living in the craziest times. And these things won't stop until you put your foots down. Let them know, listen, okay, I wish one of them one of those boys I mentored would have came to me and said, you know what, big bro? I like to paint my fingernails. I think I look cute. The girls like it. I wish one of them would have came to me and said something like that. Luckily for me, the young men I mentored were too hard. Wanted to be too tough. We somehow got into a space where music started dictating what happened in real life. People didn't realize that this music that they were listening to, the rap, and I'm guilty of it myself. They didn't realize that it was shaping a story that people were living. Now all of a sudden everybody has to be gangster. Don't even know what the real gangster is. These young boys I mentored, they all thought they were the toughest things in the world. Till I showed them that actually you're not. And where you think you're the biggest and the baddest, there's always somebody bigger. Always somebody better. I told you I used to like to fight when I was younger. I got scars all over me. Get my mouth bust open, my nose broke. Because just as much as I gave it, I took it. Well, I appreciate you, wife. So what do y'all think? Was today a good session? Should we do this some more? This was kind of an off the cuff thing where I had a topic I was going to get to, but um, it didn't really go that way. It went kind of a different way. Um, but if you guys want to do this on a more, uh, constant, steady basis, I'm willing to give up some time for each one of you. I just want to make sure that while I'm telling you guys these things, I'm not wasting my breath. I have a family to run. I have a business to run. And if I'm out here and I'm saying these things, I want y'all to actually listen and put it into action. If you out there and you are married and you spreading your legs, shut them. Because guess what? And it goes both ways. When I say ladies, I'm talking about men too. So don't get it messed up. Men, when you start throwing D all over the place, from that point on, you ain't nothing but a trick. This girl knows that all I got to do, I can do whatever I want. All I got to do is give him some pee, and it's all good. That's all I got to do. And he'll buy me whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can go out whenever I want. I can do anything I want to do. And I know we're living in 2023, almost 2024. I know the reality of what the world is. The world is promiscuous. The world is promiscuous. The world is constantly trying to sell you sex. Ladies, it's trying to constantly tell you you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough. There's somebody out there for everybody. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your flaws are. There, ladies, you are the lock. Men, you are the key. There is somebody out there that your key will fit perfectly in that lock and unlock it. That will unlock your door. I don't care if you're a big key, little key, short key, tall key, gold key, silver key, car key, house key, whatever key. There's somebody out there for each and every one of you that's perfect and exactly for you. You need to take your time out to go try to find that one. And while you're doing that, not throwing it all over the place. Men, once men sleep with you, that's it. It's over. The chase is over. The thrill is over. Everything's over. It's done. He no longer looks at you the same. Once that happens, and I don't care if this is a man you've been married to for 30 years or a man you just slept with. Once a man sleeps with you, everything changes. Now, it could either be for a good thing. He's sleeping with you because you're both married, and he's looking at you as if you two have just consummated your life together. Or it could be a bad way, where he's looking at you going, well, did that. That was fun. On to the next. My wife just popped her head in here and said, answer Megan. What is your advice to people? I wonder if she meant Jennifer. What is your advice to people in their 20s? Okay. I'm going to give you advice. And I'm going to give it to you as if you are my daughter. Your 20s are meant for you. This is your learning phase. This is where you learn who you are. Whatever it is that you're doing, first, do your best at it. Don't half-ass things. I don't know if I'm going to get yelled at for that. But we're all adults here, so come on. Don't half, oh, now I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble. Don't halfway do stuff. If you're going to do it all the way. Anything worth doing is worth doing to the 100, your 100 complete level. And if you can't put 100% into it, don't pick it up and start doing it. People will tell you you're in your 20s, this is your time to make mistakes. That's somewhat true. But learn who you are. Figure you out. Because you can't fully give yourself to somebody else if you don't even know who you are. It's okay to date. It's okay to talk to guys. It's okay to do all those things. What's not okay is opening up your legs to them. Keep that tight, locked up. Because you'll find yourself in your 30s at the blink of an eye, jaded behind everything. Nothing's new anymore. Nothing's excited. Been there, done that, Dick. Try to figure out who you are. Don't give yourself away to just anyone. Don't accept mediocrity. If a man shows interest in you, he needs to show 100% interest. And if he's not doing that, then don't waste your time. Because nobody will love you like you until you meet the right one. Then he'll love you like you. Because what's good for him is good for you, and what's good for you is good for him. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep working, getting up every day and saying, I'm going to be better today than I was the day before. And if you keep putting your one foot in front of the other and you live by that every day, day in and day out, there is no way that you won't win. None. Don't feel as if you need to be out doing things that all the other people are doing. Because I promise you, you're not going to find your husband nor your wife in a club. You're not going to find them in a club. You're not going to find them in a bar. You're not. Because they're there for a good time, not a long time. What would you say to a young man who would have confided in you about having gender issues or homosexuality? I would. Now I'm putting myself in myself in your shoes. That is not to. After that, what's there to talk about? He's no longer an option for you at all. So why play the game with him? He's obviously got issues and problems, and he's got things going on that don't concern you. Ain't your business and ain't your problem. I understand because you're a woman that you want to be nurturing and maybe try to help or fix the problem, but that's not for you to do. You're not here for that. And you're not here to be somebody's mommy. Megan, I know for a fact, and I'm assuming this. I'm assuming this is just a hypothetical or asking for. So I'm going to just assume that that's what this is. You're wife material. What are you doing wasting your time. When there are plenty of men out there that don't have that type of issue that's worth your time. Ladies, that's each and every one of you. I don't care which one of you ask me this. You're wife material. Why are you wasting your time? Because it's in you to think that you need to help and fix and no. For too long, ladies, you have decided at some point that you need to be a man's mommy. That all men are worth your time. When there are very many of them that clearly are not. You need to close that door immediately. Say, you know what? I'm sorry, that's a problem I can't help you with. I can't fix that. Because that type of stuff, that's deep rooted. That's deep issues. So that's gonna take some fixing. And a lot of times when men are into that type of stuff, they don't want to fix it. They're too caught on their fetish. And then if they happen to get off of that fetish, it's just to go down the ladder to the next fetish that's worse than that one. And you don't got time for that. Because you're going to blink your eye and you're going to be 60 years old wondering how you wasted all this time. And it's on stuff like that. Jennifer, you too. You're in your 20s. You are going to blink your eye and you are going to be in your 40s. I know this because I am. Literally 2 days ago, I turned 21. And I wish I would have done more preparing myself to be the man I am now. Then I wouldn't have bumped my head so many times along the way becoming a husband. I would have done the due diligence already. I would have put the time in to learn me. But instead what I did was I put the time in to mask me. I drank, got high. Women were just as bad as of a drug for me. Money was a drug for me. There was never enough. There was never enough to feed my hunger. Never. So instead, what I wish I would have did was I would have took my time and learned who I was. So when I went into my marriage, I knew the issues that I could relay to my wife. Megan, you know who you are, so stand on it. Stand on your morals, stand on your morality, and say, you know what? I'm sorry you're going through that, but that's a spot I can't help you in. You are going to waste your time on somebody that does not want to be fixed. Now, if he would have came to you and said, you know what, I'm going through this, but I haven't done it in a very long time, I'd still tell you that's not your husband. Because that type of stuff right there, again, is deep-seated. And it can pop its little head back up. Listen, when demons grab onto you, you're not a demon 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I wasn't. I was a demon in the situation. He popped his head up in situations. He knew exactly what I liked. Do you hear me yelling? These kids bugging out in here. No, I don't hear you at all. Yeah, listen. Yeah, I had deep-seated stuff, White, but guess what? It wasn't that type of stuff. We all got deep-seated things, but that's deep, deep. That's extra deep. That's to your toes type deep. We all got deep-seated issues. We all got deep-seated situations, but there are some that are way deeper than others. There's some roots with trees that you can walk up and you could just yank that root right out. There's some roots that are a little bit deeper that require you to get a shovel. Then there's some that are so deep that you need explosives to get it out. That's the kind of root that is. The only way to get that out is to blow it all up and try to start fresh on your own, by yourself. Say, I have this problem. Me and God are working on it together. I'm not pulling anybody else into this with me. You don't need to be down here in the mud with me. And each one of you deserve it. Amelia, I couldn't tell you how thrilled I was to find out that you got married. My wife and I almost acted like you were one of our children. We were so thrilled for you. Wife came busting out. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget where I was when you told her. I was working. I was in the middle of working. Wife busts the door open and goes, guess what? What? Amelia, I stopped everything I was doing and said, you got to be kidding me. Tell her I said, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then I didn't even think she told you. I think that we made the voicemail ourselves to tell you. Or we sent you a voice, whatever. Megan, you. Now I'm thinking of a nice way to say this to you. Because my wife loves you. You will find the man who's for you in the time that it's for you. And I'll be excited, just as excited as for Amelia, for you. As a matter of fact, I think we'll be there for that. But you need to start drawing lines. This is my line. You cannot cross my line. You cross my line, you step a pinky toe over the line. That's it. There's no second chance, there's no third chance, there's no none of that. Because you knew where the line was in the beginning. I said it for you. I said, here it is. Ladies, this goes for each and every one of you. I'm speaking to Megan, but I'm really speaking to all of you. Even if you're married, my wife sets this line. She said it a long time ago. She said, you can do this, 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 and don't you dare do that. And I said, okay, there's the line. I know not to even get close to it. I know not to even tippy toe near it. I know not to play around near it. Because what happens when you play around? Sometimes you trip, you fall over the line. Now you're looking stupid. Men have a very, very good way of doing that. They'll play right up to the line. And then when they fall over the line, they sit there and look at themselves in the mirror looking dumb, going, how did I do that? How do I know she's not drawing the lines? Because, again, like I said, men pay attention when when you talk. And I can kind of see sometimes the way that Megan writes certain things, that I think the problem is she comes off too sweet sometimes, where she's not firm enough to draw hard lines. She'll draw soft lines. Can you understand that? You get what I'm saying? Where she doesn't maybe want to hurt someone's feelings, so she doesn't necessarily draw the super hard line of where it needs to be. If I'm wrong, Megan, you can say it. I'm okay. I've been wrong before. My wife tells me I'm wrong all the time. But I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. Because when I read the things that you say, that's how it comes off. There's a couple of you in the chat where I read some of the things that you say. I won't say your names, but when I read some of the things you say, I pretty much got you pegged. Like I know what type of person you are. Just by the way you type your sentences and the things that you say. So imagine what a man can get from your actual voice when you're sitting across the table talking to him. I can kind of, you know, read in between the lines on certain things. So, everybody needs lines. Everybody. But especially single ladies. Especially young single ladies. Draw your lines. Let them know, listen, I'm not here to sleep around. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm here to find somebody that I can spend the rest of my life with. I'm not here to play house with you. I'm not here to be your baby mom. I'm not here to be your mom. I'm not here for any of that. Now, don't get me wrong. I still want to go out. I still want to have fun. I still want to do, all those things. But the one things these are the few things that I won't do. I'm not sleeping with you in 3 days from now. Not sleeping with you in a week from now. Not sleeping with you in a month from now. I'm not tugging it, not looking at it, not touching it, none of it. Not licking it, like none of it. Because they'll try all the little things. Okay, well, let's play just the tip. Just to see if it feels good. What about you, wife? Oh, and what about men? I said this earlier, wife. I still want to know what you would have had said to a young boy who would have confided in you. Okay, I'll get to that in 1 second. Wife, what about men? I said earlier that everything I'm saying to women, I'm saying that because you guys are the ones in here chatting and talking, but it goes for men too. Because we get caught up where you think that women give away pieces of themselves when you sleep with men. Men give pieces of themselves away too. All the same things I'm saying for women apply equally for men. It's just that this is what I see in the chat, so that's what I'm addressing. And as far as men go, it's time to stand up and be men. Real men. Real, hard-nosed, barrel-chested men. We are in the end times at this point. And if we don't stand up for us and we don't stand up for our family, then who's going to? Who's going to? Who's going to be the one that fights for your family? You can't have it be the woman. I specifically show up to my children's school every day for you to know, for the teachers to know, for the principal to know, there's a man out here. And if you mess with my child, you're going to have to deal with me. You're not going to have to deal with mom. I call my kids in sick. Because you're going to hear my voice and know that I'm here. You're going to, if you do any sort of disservice to my child, to my wife, you're going to have to deal with me. Do not let society fool you into thinking that there's something wrong with being with a man. Are our nails clean all the time? No. Are our jeans dirty? Yes. Are our boots gross? Yes. But that's the beauty of it. These are the things we're willing to do for you. We're willing to get these, to go through these things, to deal with these things. There's stuff that happens my wife never knew it happened. Had no idea. No clue. Because I've cut it off way before it even got to her. And I don't talk about it with her because it's not her business. It's not her place to worry about. She has other things she needs to worry about. She has other things to strive for than to have to stress on these things that are my job to take care of. So, Megan, you want to know what I would say? What I would have said to a young boy that would have confided that to me? I would have told him that he needs to, first of all, where's this boy's daddy? If your father's not around, then you need to go to your grandfather. And if your grandfather's not around, you need to go to your uncle and learn what it is to be a man. Learn the hard way. A lot of times, these young men that do this, a lot of times there's issues with their mother. A lot of times that's where it all stems from. And they don't know what it is even to be a man, so now they're confused. And you get a lot of these guys out here now, it's because they've been allowed to get here. They've been allowed to make these series of bad choices. It starts with little things that weren't corrected. It starts with showing, yeah, listen, I don't let my son get away with much. When I start seeing little things, I call it out, and I challenge his manhood. Is that what you see Daddy doing? How do you not hear me? Is that what you see Daddy doing? Yeah, wife, you're running.
Dad, they can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. If it was a young boy I was mentoring, then that boy would be stuck to me like glue. That boy would be stuck to me like glue, and I would have figured out whatever the root issues were of that, what those little things were, and I would have started correcting them. And all the young men that I mentored, they are all successful today. Now, I'm not going to take full 100% credit for any of it, but I'm going to take credit for the little part that I played. And they have came out and said that me being there, me doing the things that I did were a direct reflection in some of the choices that they made. So I would take that young man and I would have him stuck to me like glue. And we'd start fixing every little issue. Where did this start? Where did all of it begin? Let's start there. When did this start feeling like this was the thing to do? And I'd start picking all those little things apart. And I'd start pulling them all out of them. And as I pull out one thing, I put in the right thing. You can't pull out something and leave a hole there. It doesn't work like that. Because the old thing is just going to find its way back into the hole. You don't dig holes in your backyard and just leave them. You either put a plant in there, you put a tree in there, you fill it back up with dirt, you put concrete in there, but you always fill the hole. Because what happens if you don't fill the hole? It just collapses in. That old dirt goes right back in there. So I take out the wrong and I start inserting the right. I start turning the fingernail polish to dirt under your nails. Do you get what I'm saying? Wife said, I don't believe these men were all gay. They opened doors along. That's what I said, wife. I said it started with little things. They started doing little things. Those little things all started adding up into big things. Next thing you know, you're doing something you never dreamed of doing. Because it all started with little things. Should men watch porn? If there is one thing that I could tell you to stay away from, if there was one thing that I would tell every young man to stay away from, and I've told them countless amounts of time, is porn. Porn will desensitize you and have you in a rabbit hole. You start out watching straight porn. Okay? Then when you can't get off on that anymore, you go to something a little more perverted. And then a little something more perverted. And that notch just keeps getting turned up. Until all of a sudden, you don't know why, but now you're watching gay sex. Because it has to get ramped up more and more to feed that perversion. Because you're desensitized. Nothing's getting hard anymore. It's not working on the stuff that you used to do, that would used to work. So you figure out ways to make sure it's going to get hard again and make sure it still works. Wait a minute, why am I not responding like I usually do? Something must be wrong. Let me see something. And then the next thing you know, you're on the worst of the worst. And it's a gradual thing. It's not like it happens immediately. It's step by step. It goes subtly, like everything else. Everything that catches you, it doesn't catch you all at one time. Look at a spider web. A spider web just needs to catch a little piece of a fly. And then it wiggles around and wiggles around and wiggles around until it finally gets itself so entangled in that web, it can't get out. That's what porn will have you doing. And then it's nothing for it to go from being on a screen to being your reality. It's one step away. Because that's the next thing. That when the gay porn ain't working, now you're going to step it up to just regular gay in real life. because you seen it on the screen and it didn't look half bad. Not a big deal. And then the next thing you know, you got here off of simply just watching regular porn. But wife, the problem is it's no. Erectile dysfunction, that doesn't happen. It just gets worse and worse and worse. You'll figure out a way, even if you have to start popping pills. You'll figure out a way to get out there to get off. So then watching that gay porn turns into gay real life. Now I ain't gay. I just do it to get off. But I ain't gay though. No, you gay. You done turned yourself gay. Started off simple, started off innocent, started off just watching normal porn, to now, I'm sorry, I'm not one of those people that will go by, oh, I'm bisexual. No, you just gay. You just a sissy. And I ain't here to argue with you. See, because a man can't argue with a sissy. It don't work like that. Because then people go, why you beating up the sissy? Why are you doing that to him? Now you a bad guy. I don't even give them the time of day. You ain't a man. You ain't worth my time. You ain't a man. I completely ignore you. You ain't even, listen, my wife will tell you, there is somebody around that pops up every once in a blue moon, and when they around, and we have no choice. We don't even know they're coming. He knows not to even speak to me. Don't even look in my direction, because you don't even exist to me. You ain't even here in real life to me. Because I ain't arguing with you. It ain't happening. What's considered... I ain't chilling. Because that's just because you know how many men sit there and go, well, what do I do if this gay dude wants to start arguing with me about being gay? Do you know how many times that's happened? And you don't know no better, so you sitting up there arguing with this sissy? They ain't even in that. Listen, you ain't even here. I ain't gonna argue with you. What's considered defiling the marriage bed? Well, I think that would be where it's a situation maybe to each is his own. Each couple may find that different, that line differently. Like some people, oral sex is. Some people it's not. Some people, some people find that just as bad as anal. I mean, we don't get down like that, but I think if husband and wife are comfortable expressing themselves sexually, whatever it is they're comfortable expressing with each other, then you two are married. You do what it is that you draw your limits with each other. Now, the only way I can really, the only thing I can really say that would defile would be bringing in other people, because some marriages get there. Unfortunately, sometimes it gets to the point where you two have You guys got some perversion going on and you bring extra people into your bed. It never ends up well, but it happens. Yeah, I said that. I know sodomy's a sin. I was talking about oral sex. I left the sodomy alone. I said some people find oral sex as bad as anal sex, but I thought I pointed out that anal sex was probably bad. I said we don't do it. See? Y'all knew I said that, right? Or am I wrong and I just missed that? Well, wife, I can't give Bible answers. That's you. That's not me. But I did say that, I said some people find oral sex as bad as anal sex. So right there, I thought I said anal sex was bad. I thought we got there. That I see, wife, I know that. Are you not listening to me? I said anal sex was bad. I said we don't do it. Now you guys get to see what bickering is in our house. Listen, y'all. Let me say this right now, so I don't get in trouble when I'm done. Sodomy will send you to hell. It's in the Bible. Don't pay any attention to what I said. Right, wife? Can I get a thumbs up or something, wife? There we go. I got some laughing. I thought I pointed it out. Like I thought everybody caught that. Listen, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, or, Megan, did I answer you correctly, or did I answer you full enough? I'll give it real quick one time. Um, I would make sure that that young man is with me at all times. And as I'm pulling out the things that are wrong, I'm inserting the right things. I'm inserting the correct way to do things. I'm inserting the things that were maybe even didn't even get pulled out, but there was a hole there to begin with. A lot of times things like that can be fixed with strong male mentorship. And that goes not even for young men, but grown men. A lot of times if you keep men around you that will hold you accountable, that's what some men need. Some men need other men around them to go, hey, if you cheat on your wife, you're a dirtbag. Some men need that. I like being around and talking to older men. I don't like being around nobody talking to my age because we got nothing to discuss. I want to know what pitfalls that man made, where he slipped and fell. Tell me your mistakes so I can make sure they're not my mistakes. I ask my wife's grandfather stuff all the time. All the time. We have conversations constantly because I'm not going to sit up there and he and ha with her family. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to talk to her. Hey, tell me where you messed up your marriage. Where did you think you messed up? Where was your biggest mistake? Where did you go wrong? And then I get to hear older men's perspective on life. And I can go, okay, you know what? He messed up there. I'm going to make sure I don't. All right. We out. Yeah, wife. No, you don't even got to pray us out because we didn't get prayed in. We didn't do none of that. We don't got to do that today. I think we're good. And if you guys, want to keep doing this, I'll do it every week. I'll make it a little more formal. I'll come up with, topics. We'll hit certain things, and I'll bring up certain things that have maybe happened during the week throughout, the world, and we'll discuss them. And if you guys have anything you want to discuss, you're welcome to discuss it. Maybe we'll figure out what to do about the screen so you guys are just not looking at a black screen. But you know the rules. It don't matter. None of the things matter. We got caught up somewhere thinking that appearances and the way my wife and I look or whatever is somehow important, but it's really not. The message is what's really important. All right. Well, everybody, I think that we are done for the night. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate each one of your time. Yeah, until next week. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Christmas is coming up, so ho, ho, ho. All right. Good night. Bye.